Welcome to another episode of our leadership video series, where we sit down with inspiring leaders to hear their stories, insights, and advice. Today I'm joined by Laura Kitto, Vice President of Human Resources at Distributor, Wire and Cable. With over a decade of experience building strong workplace cultures and aligning people strategies with business goals, Laura brings a wealth of knowledge about leadership, collaboration, and creating environments where people can thrive. I'm excited to dive into her journey and the lessons she's learned along the way. You've grown from running an HR department of one to leading a full HR team and even overseeing operations. What lesson did you learn in making that transition, and how did it shape your leadership style?
Whether you're leading yourself or leading others or leading an organization, it really boils down to some core leadership traits that help us through all of those transitions, and it's really about building those trusting relationships, right? That's where all good aspects of leadership come from, is building those relationships. And really the best way to build relationships is through strong communication. It's about ensuring that you do what you say you're going to do, right? So following through on the things that you say, and really about being vulnerable. So the more you're able and willing to share things going on with you, share the challenges that you're having, the more other people open up and are willing to work with you on things. So many lessons, I feel like, over time. One of the key things is I don't know everything, right? And there's constant learning that has to happen, and that's okay, because this is a journey and it is about continuing to try new things and test things out, and work with your partners and see what comes of it.
At Distributor, Wire and Cable, you emphasize aligning people's strategies with business goals. What are some ways you ensure that culture and strategies stay connected in practice?
I truly believe at Distributor Wire and Cable that your culture is our differentiator. And so, in order to meet business goals, so whatever those might be, you have to have a place that people want to come to. You have to have a place that people want to give their all. You have to have a place that people will connect with whatever those goals are that you're trying to meet. And so I think really the best way that you can build a strong culture is about hiring the right people. So understanding who it is that you want in the organization, and being able to understand who you're looking for, and not settle for anything different. Because culture is really about the way people show up in the organization, and it isn't a program that HR puts on. It really is about how people choose to show up in the organization. So you have to hire the right people in order to do that. And so connecting that to achieving those business goals is really about creating that foundation of good communication, transparency, making sure everybody understands what those goals are, and then aligning your own individual and department goals to those bigger company goals. So kind of a few things in there, but really it boils down to culture and people believing you can do what you say you're going to do as an organization.
You've spoken about the importance of creating a strong, enjoyable workplace culture. What's one initiative or practice you've implemented that you feel made the biggest impact on employee engagement?
I think I would just talk about something very recent that we developed a culture committee. That's exciting. People in the organization who are passionate about it as well and have a million great ideas, because as I mentioned before, I don't know everything, right? And so utilizing the people in the organization to say, hey, what can we do to make sure that this is a good place to work and people are having a good time? And so we utilize Slack as our internal messaging system. And so the culture committee came up with just, various type of Slack channels. So like people who want to talk about sports, or people who want to talk about cooking, or people who want to talk about their pets. That's a big one. And so it just creates this ability for people to engage with each other on so many different levels that have absolutely nothing to do with actual work that we're doing. And it really creates that atmosphere of just fun, enjoyment, Laughter. I feel like the biggest thing is you gotta learn to laugh and enjoy life, right? Because we spend a lot of time at work. We should probably spend some time laughing there too. So these initiatives that the culture committee is putting in play, like differentiated Slack channels, has been just a joy to watch people just engage and have a good time at work.
Many leaders struggle to balance empathy with accountability. How do you navigate that balance in your leadership?
There's a sense of control what we you can control, right? And so there's always taking the human side to things, right? Like I'm human, you're a human. We have to understand each other on this human level. So I can have empathy for sure on any human level and understand that people might be going through things and that life can be hard, work can be hard. We don't always do everything correct, but I think if we have set very clear expectations and then we discuss and talk about those expectations and how people are meeting those, that's a great way for us to stay in that accountability arena, even when life happens, right? So life is happening and maybe this individual is struggling, but if we can always go back to here's what's expected and what can we do to ensure these expectations are still getting met even though life is happening for you right now, I think that's a good way to acknowledge the human and also ensure that our business is being taken care of. So it really boils down to very clear expectations and having regular conversations about those expectations.
If you could give one piece of advice to emerging leaders in HR or other fields about leading people effectively, what would it be?
I think I'm gonna have to go back to some of just the lessons learned from the first question. Leadership is about being human with people. It's about really good communication, and part of that is vulnerability. I think when you can be vulnerable, I think when you can have really good communication with people, you can learn so much about what's going on with them, what do they want out of life, what do they want out of this job. And then that allows you as a leader to help guide and move things in a good direction. But if you aren't willing to be vulnerable yourself, how could you ever expect that from your peers, the people that you're leading? So I think it's really about being vulnerable, open, honest communication, and that will help you be able to be a really strong, influential individual.